All right, we're here doing the volume of a composite solid, and all of our study guide information is rounding to the nearest tenth when we do the approximate answer, and when we are doing something, usually we do exact and approximate. So in this case, because we are talking about composite shapes, typically I don't do the approximate and the exact, I just do the exact because it becomes a little bit more realistic when you're just doing the approximate answer. So you're going to see the two formulas that I have, a rectangle and a hemisphere. So we're going to go ahead and plug in the numbers. This is the rectangle is length times width times height. And then we have our hemisphere, which is 2/3 pi r cubed. So we're going to start off with the rectangle. So we have the three dimensions here, an 8 by 8 by 12. So that one's pretty straightforward to do. We have the volume of an 8 by 8 times 12. And when you do that on the calculator, again, just straight up 8 times 8 times 12. Pretty basic, nothing fancy, you get 768. So that is what you have for that rectangular prism. So that is that part. Now we're talking about yards, so it's yards cubed. So that will be that number. Now we're going to add that hemisphere that's on top of it. It's a little dome shape, so if you think about different shapes, you're going to have volume, assuming that these are all filled in 100%. And so we're going to use that information to help us with the hemisphere. So how do I find the radius of this hemisphere? Because there's no dimension on there, but I do have the information. It is from this side to this side, which means that it's going across the entirety of this 8-yard radius here. Or sorry, not radius, diameter. So the diameter on this is going to be 8 because it's going from this edge to this edge, which means half of that would be my radius. So that means that my radius on this is going to be 4. So I'm just going to put that next to this so that you can see. Again, you're just taking that diameter, which is 8 yards across, and then your radius is half of that. Now we're going to plug that in. And when I do the formula for a volume of anything that is circular or curved in shape, it's always the radius goes first because order of operations can be done a little bit more accurately, hopefully, in case you make a mistake with that. So I'm going to just show you that. Again, you're going to do 4 to the 3rd power. So if you are not familiar with how to put something into the calculator, 4 to the 3rd power, you do 4, and then you hit this button right here. This is the little caret button. That gives you to a power that's helping you to, you can see what it looks like right there, go to a power other than 2. And then we're going to do to the 3rd power. So we're going to put 3 in there, and now you should look like that. So that's 4 times 4 times 4. If you get stuck, you can always just do that. But you can see that it is 64, so that is accurately done. So we have 64, and then I multiply that times the 2. And then we're going to have times pi divided by 3. So what I typically will do is do 64 times the 2 and get that answer, 128. And then I see if I can divide by 3 just to see if it comes out nicely. Now we're doing composite shapes. So I can literally just go times pi right now and get my answer, which is that whole number. Do not cut it off, leave it the way that it is. And then we're going to divide this by 3 so we can get our approximate answer. Again, I'm not doing the exact on this one because composites, we're trying to find the total volume. So it's basically 134. We're going to call it just 134 because the 0 is right after that decimal and there's a 4 after that, which would not round that up. So we're going to go with an approximation of about 134 for the volume for this. So this is 134, and we are talking about yards in this one, so yards cubed. And because I have it on top of that rectangle, I'm going to take roughly 134, and I'm just going to add it to the answer we got from here, which is 768, which means it's approximately 902 yards cubed for the total volume of this object. And if you want more questions like these, you can find them on my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at U1Algebra. All of these are going to be located in my volume playlist. And don't forget to like, share, follow them for more, and save it for later. And I will see you soon.